Welcome to Sorting Through Life with Colleen Waterston here on AM 950. I am here today with my first and my most recent hire in Space by Space organizing. I'm here with Alicia. Alicia, you all met our very first episode, my right hand since almost day one on all sorts of organizing jobs and everything else. And Tiffany, welcome to the show. Tiffany is our new digital social media content gal.
Extraordinaire.
Apologies for not including that from the start. Yes, very much. Okay, so Alicia, you've been doing a lot of research. You haven't been here since our first show, but you've been very much in the radio show.
Behind the scenes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so originally for this first episode, when I was diving into some of the research, I was looking into different organizing methods, KonMari, the Marie Kondo style, Swedish death cleaning, the Fly Lady cleaning and organizing method. And then I was kind of thinking, like, as much as it'd be good to dive into other methods, why not dive into the space by space first? So
yeah, we were kind of going through some of the high-level takeaways of some of these different methods, and we're like, why would we have our own?
Yeah.
You know, why would we highlight all these others when we can highlight our own? And I think that we do plan on taking that and bringing in experts on, you know, KonMari is the method that comes from Marie Kondo and her book, and different experts on different topics. But to really spend some time sharing with people what we do and how what we do is what you can hire us for, but also how you can follow that, like the KonMari method you can follow on your own, but also you can follow ours once we give you a little insight into it. And Tiffany, you've been doing research on us. So Tiffany, for those watching, can tell she has a very cool look. She is our resident rock star because she's actually a rock star. So Tiffany's the lead singer of the Rebel Queens, a band here based out of the Twin Cities. And you've, for years, managed your own band's social media, YouTube videos, and all sorts of content. And now you're coming on helping us to your musical girl group, and now you're creating content for our organizing girl group.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. Pretty much. Yeah, I'm Tiffany. I just started working with Space by Space maybe 3 weeks ago. So I've just been diving in and checking out the brand and seeing what makes everybody tick. And I was drawn to it when I saw this job posting was because I had done the Marie Kondo method years ago. And so I know how important that is and how like unique that is and emotional and visual and all the things. So it's going to be really fun to really start diving into telling those stories on different platforms. Yeah.
And I think today, by having us, you know, Alicia's been along for this ride for a few years now, and now we've got a few weeks, it really gives that you still have questions about what we're up to and what you're putting out there on our behalf. And so it's going to give that seasoned perspective and that fresh perspective, and helps, I think, anytime you have fresh new perspective, it helps you see yourself from that outsider point of view. And then it helps you learn to articulate what you offer better and, you know, what it is that we stand for. So I think that we might just kind of dive right in and talk about our process. So I would say the space by space process from consultation to calm is kind of our episode's theme today. And what happens when you hire space by space organizing, like what to expect and what our process is. And we're going to pull back the curtain on that so that you can, you know, potentially do this for yourself when you are organizing your home. So we have kind of three elements of what goes on when we're in someone's house. We have a big sort, a big evaluation, and a big rearrange. And the end result is a big sigh of relief. But before all that, I'll share that we have a big consult. So when we get hired, when somebody reaches out to us and wants help to make sense of their stuff, to whether they're planning to stay in their house and just need better systems, whether they're wanting to move and go through their items before, and then also have us help them set up new systems for success in their new home. I go to a person's house and meet them in person and really walk through everything. And for this, I always tell people, do not clean up for me. I am the most fun person to have over because you can't clean up for me. If you clean up for me, I won't be able to do my job. If you, pick up that pile of things that you toss at the front of the door, I don't know that I need to fix that when I come back to do the work.
Yep.
So I have to see the problem areas. I have to see the tension areas, and then I'm just going to ask you questions throughout and really kind of probe you while going through your home to figure out like what can I do from here. So that consult, like there's value in the consult itself because you're getting I'm giving it my first impression, I'm talking it through. It's usually about an hour if there's more than one spaces, if we're doing a whole home, or if we got brought in for one space, but actually there's more to it. It can stretch beyond that, but it's really kind of we also get to know like what are your preferences for the workflow. Do you want to work fast and furious? Do you want this to be done over the course of months? Do what's your preference? How does that fit with what I think is possible? What days are best for us to come? We kind of get the elements of what's going to go into our scope of work,
Kind of the lay of the land.
the lay of the land.
Hmm.
And then when I leave, there's a whole big behind the scenes effort that happens from there. And so this is kind of like this is everything we do before we come back. So it's all the hours that we aren't in your home that we're working to make the hours that we are in your home feel like magic. It's like, oh my goodness, so much gets done when it's us, but that's because we have thought this through. We have talked it through. We have looked at the photos. We've studied it. We've come up with a plan for how we're going to tackle this. We've bought products on your behalf. We are not just arriving being like, what should we do? There is a plan of action in place. So then, when that plan of action, Alicia, why don't you take it from here and explain that big sort? Then we'll get into big evaluation and big rearrange.
Yeah, so the big sort, that's where we take literally everything out of the area that we're organizing. So, say for example, we're doing the kitchen. Everything comes out of the drawers, everything comes out of the cabinets, everything comes out of the cupboards. Any item that you have in that kitchen, you will see out on your floor, sorted item by item. We do sort things with like kinds together just so that way it gives the client the good idea how many items they have. Because, say, sometimes they have 3 items of something. One might be a little worn and torn, seen better days, and then they can kind of reevaluate, see, say, I don't need this one. We can get rid of that one. And then uh, that's kind of when we, uh,
When we do this, I mean, this is when a client will be like, "Oh my goodness, I didn't know I had so much stuff," because
yeah.
they come in really after this. And I will say, I strongly advise our clients not to be around during this, like in another room,
Mhm.
because this is where I find that the beauty of hiring a team is that we are going to pull everything out. Even if we know these plates are probably going right back where they are, like we are going to pull it out. We are going to rethink the system. We are going to wipe down the cabinets with just a very simple vinegar water solution, vacuum if we need to in certain areas. It's like we're going to tidy enough, but we're really having that fresh start. Like that, okay, now we're going to move you back in after we've gone through it.
Mhm.
But if a client thinks, oh, well, I'm an extra set of hands, if I help with this sort, I'll save money, because it'll take less time. And it's like, 9 times out of 10, if the client's involved in the sort, they're talking to us throughout it, and, like, we're usually quiet.
Yep.
Like,
Hmm.
this is, like, heads down, get things out of where they're going. If we are doing multiple spaces, if, you might be in one area while I'm in another,
Hmm.
we get everything ready so that when the client comes in, we can go through everything all at once for the big evaluation.
Hmm.
How does this sound, Tiffany?
Sounds wonderful.
Sounds wonderful.
Got me rethinking my space for sure.
Oh, really? A little bit.
I'm sure everyone would be. Yeah.
Or do I want to look at every single item?
No, I don't.
But this is that big evaluation.
Yeah, so that's typically when Colleen goes through each item with every client. And me and whoever else is there, if we have another person, will kind of sit behind the scenes listening to what the client uses the item for, how frequently they use it, or if it's something that they don't want to hang on to, donate, trash, give to a family friend. And that's where we just take the item, remove it from the scene, just so that way it kind of removes that clutter from the area. And when we go to put everything back in, we are only looking at the items that do go back in.
That's kind of the magic of this part of it. When I have the focus of the client and we are going through item by item, and as we go, trash is identified.
Mhm.
As we go, donate is identified. As we go, oh shoot, I forgot I had that. I have to give that back to my sister. It is bagged and put by the front door, and we will deal with that. If we can put it in your car to get to your sister, we will do that too. Whatever we can do to
Make
like
it
make
easier.
it easier for those items that don't go back in to go away, because then when you look up from this big evaluation, you're like, oh, there's not as much here anymore. Like it feels a little bit more manageable,
Less overwhelming for the client.
less overwhelming for sure. And this is where like sometimes it almost seems like a client is thinking they want to be impressive, like, oh, I'm getting rid of so much stuff. And it's like, I will say, like, today is not the only day you can get rid of something. Like, you can keep that. Like, I'll sometimes give more pushback for someone to keep something because
Mhm.
we've done this so many times with so many people that it's like I can feel when they're writing the energy of the excitement of the process, almost trying to impress us. It feels like
Mhm.
I can get rid of so much stuff, and it's like I say I'm not anti-stuff. I'm anti-stuff getting in the way of your life. And so this is where, we really look at the space that you have, the goal for how much you want to keep, and in the consultation we've already identified what the goal is here. It might be I've lost a ton of weight or I've gained a ton of weight and my closet doesn't serve me and I hate getting dressed in the morning. Like, okay, so when we come back, we really want to only have clothes in here that fit you.
Mhm.
And so with that, that gives us like a really easy benchmark to work through, and
Yeah.
we can push the client according to what their goal is,
Mhm.
and if they want the items that don't fit them to go away or to go away in a box that we review in a year,
Mhm. Put in
then
storage.
we can think through that with them in a way that optimizes the space we're leaving behind. And and so it's like maybe this all goes back in. Probably not,
Mhm.
probably not. But there's no percentage. You have to get rid of half. You
Yeah.
have to get rid of, it's just what,
Do what feels good for you.
right,
Mhm.
right. Okay. The big rearrange.
Yeah, so pretty much the final step for us, that's after the client has gone through all the items, said what they want to keep, said what they don't. We'll take the items that are still being kept and basically put them in their final home. So, once again, say we're in a kitchen, we'll find spots for the glasses, silverware, all that stuff. And kind of what one of Colleen's things that she likes to say is only touch something 3 times. So, touch it when you take it out, touch it when you're going through the evaluation, and touch it for the final time when it goes back to its home. Um, Not saying that we actually have to only touch it 3 times because sometimes things happen. We need to touch it more than once or rearrange it again. But that's kind of our main goal to just help save on time and just not overthink and do things more than we need to.
Yeah, it's like, yes, of course we can touch things like 4 to 6, potentially
Yep.
7,
6 is the
not
limit.
8.
7
Yeah,
is the limit.
yeah. I'm like too far. But it gives us just, like I also sometimes will be like, we need to work 2 times like fast. You
Yep.
listen, maybe someone's listening to this on 2 times speed. And it's like you just want to kind of press a button and make someone work a little faster. So it'll be like, we need to work at like 1.5.
Yep.
Like we need to fast forward this, because it's like we don't have all day.
Yep.
We've got, I do like to say human hours.
Hmm.
It's like at the end of the evaluation, now we have, and they really do usually take like a good third of the time. Like
Yeah,
the sort
absolutely.
takes, proportionately. And so, and we know because of our experience how much we can get done in a day.
Hmm.
So we've gotten better and better at being like, we're not going to take out something that we can't get through this with and put
Yeah.
back together. But so we get to that end of the time of the evaluation. We look at the clock. Okay, we're planning to leave here at 4. It's 2.5 hours away. There's 3 of us. We have, oh shoot, that was 4, 2, 6, 7.5.
7.5.
I
Yeah.
am a home organizer, not a math teacher. Um, we have 7.5 human hours. And if the client is kind of helping us as well, it's like we have over 8 human hours here.
Hmm.
For the putting back is, they might be around more. But even that, it's like if a client doesn't want to be around, have fun with this. You hired people to come in and put this away
Yep.
for you. We are very good at this. Like, when are you able as an adult to have someone put your things away and come up with this system for you? It's like delight in that and let us do this and come back and give us feedback. But go do something else for yourself, and then we kind of have our internal language too, and we have our ways of knowing what works, what doesn't. We step back, we look at things. We might pull post-it notes out to prevent that fourth and fifth, never the sixth touch. But yeah, it's like let us do what we're good at and then come in and give us feedback, and we'll
Mhm.
ask you, hey, do you like this? What do you think about us putting this here? What do you think about that? But it's like that's where we really get to create a custom solution. And then at that point, I say like the best part is that big sigh of relief.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
The client comes in. I mean, we've had a woman come into our closet and it's like, does she need Kleenex? Like,
Oh.
you remember the one that there was a cross country move? It was just a move is a lot, but a cross country move. They were
Mhm.
in a rental, they were in a friend's house, they were in a hotel. They
Living out of boxes.
boxes everywhere. And it was like we made that closet really functional, really
Hmm.
beautiful, color coded, the right hangers, the right thing. And she's like, I think I might cry. And it's like, please do. Like we love that. We welcome emotion. Like we're proud of this too. So I think that results in that, like, it's such a joy to be able to like imagine somebody using their space now from here. It's like it just I never thought that this could feel this way.
Just seeing them, like, it almost seems like a weight is lifted off their shoulders and they seem just a lot more just at peace with things.
Huge weight lifted off our shoulders. And unfortunately, we are losing Alicia for the next bit of this episode. But Alicia, thank you for being here.
Yeah, of course. Happy to be here.
I will say that having a team is is really nice, just as much as having an organizer come and do this for you. When we bring multiple of us, it makes it that much easier for us to get that much more done in a day. And it's amazing to be able to, when I started out and did it for myself and was by myself, there was nobody to pick up the trash bag, to do a load to the car, to do what I call up downs, up and down the stairs and
Yep.
bringing things up. And it's like just to be able to have that extra support, uh, all of a sudden you turn around and something you thought you had to do has been done for you.
Mhm.
And so having a team lightens the load and makes the client experience just that much better. So Alicia, we will miss you for the next bit of this, but we're happy for you being here.
Well, thank you.
All right, and with that, we'll be right back. All right, we are back with Sorting Through Life with Colleen Waterston and Tiffany Beamer here today. This is Alicia just left, so because life is life, Alicia has another gig to run to, and
Gig.
yeah, yes, you are the rock star with the gigs. And Alicia, it's funny because you'd think what could get more personal and intimate than home organizing? Her other job is spray tanning people.
She's
And
really
so,
getting in there. Yeah.
yeah, we actually realized that I had her spray tan me for a wedding that I went to a couple years before we met.
What?
Yeah, we're at like our initial coffee, and it was like, oh, I think I've been to that studio. We both looked up our calendars, and it was like, sure enough, we didn't remember each other.
She didn't even remember you?
No, it was something I had to get over. So if people are like, "Oh my gosh, that's, embarrassed," like feeling, nervous about being something, it's like people who do this all the day, like things don't matter.
Yeah.
You just see it as a job. You don't judge when you come across something in someone's home that they find embarrassing. It's like everybody has this. Like this
Right.
is a confidential process. We are not like whenever I tell client stories, I'm always like a client. And I found that people really feel like they like to hear that their story is relatable, that they're not the only person who has this, but I never say a name, because
Right.
it's like this is so confidential. But coming on this show now, when we have our Behind Closed Drawers series, like I'm so honored to have clients that will come and talk about the process and share the experience because it is personal. But
Yeah.
I also am always saying, like, you and everyone else. Like, you're not special. Like, we all have these issues in our homes. Like, we feel bad. And I think that gets to why I put out a position for social media. I have not posted on social media in like 18 months, and I have a visual business, right? Like, I have a before and after business. And if I were to go to our social media, I'd be like, is she even still working? Like,
Yeah.
last post was how long ago? I posted the day that we started this show. And I'm like, it's just, I don't love the platforms as far like I struggle with engaging with them. And then I also, feel like a lot of what's on social media is what creates some of the shame that clients feel when we walk into their house, like that they can't keep it all together and that it is such a mess and other people's lives are so much more beautiful and so much more organized. And it's like, no, 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 no. Like that angle is, like that closet that they're showing you is, but their drawers are not all. Like everybody has their things, but I think we have this kind of aspirational image that we put out there. And I think that o- organizing and professional organizing, the luxury market especially glamorizes overconsumption. And I don't love that. So, it's something I haven't leaned hard into, but it's something I want to as we're growing this business. Of course, we want to get more clients in the door, make more of an impact in people's lives. And so I'm very excited that you are coming on and going to be helping. In front of me, for anybody who's watching this on video, are like all these beautiful documents that you and I have been working through to think of what it is that we're sharing, what kind of stories we're putting out there and how to create content. I think from this show, as well as what we put on the internet, that is whether you hire us or not, you might be able to be inspired to do something on your own.
Hmm.
You might be able to see, oh, that's the process. Okay, I could do that, and um, I'd love for you to hire us. But I also just would love for this to be helpful to you.
Yeah. Well, the whole concept of home organizing feels like kind of almost like what you said, what you're picturing, like people with perfect looking things. And it feels like almost not accessible. So I loved the way that you came at it when you were like, no, like we want to work with like real people's homes, like show real photos. And it's not always going to just be like perfect lighting, perfection, edited, kind of things. I thought that was great. I mean, essentially, you almost hired me to come into your space and organize it kind of into a way that we can put out to the world and communicate. So
It's true.
that's kind of fun. Yeah.
It's true. It's pull apart everything I've done.
Let's pull it out of the
Here's
drawers.
what I've got. Let's dust it off. Let's see what doesn't fit anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
um, where's our aspirational box? Like,
What should we get rid of?
yeah, like what are we growing into?
Hmm.
Like we've got different ideas for different ways to package things, and I think that that's something where it's like that can go in a box, and we'll put all those ideas there, and then we'll get to it. So yes, I have you have a very important position here.
Yeah. Well, and I love that you talked a lot about the emotional side of it because that's something that if you've ever even done this lightly in your own home, you discover all that. And even when I've done this, like I said, lightly in my own place, um, I would open a drawer and I would feel that kind of anxiety that I used to feel looking at that drawer. And then I'm like, oh, it's not like that anymore. And it's like this release. So it's so weird. Maybe I didn't realize that that drawer stressed me out before,
Hmm.
but now that I'm seeing that it doesn't, it's just like a very much more calm, feeling.
Much more calm. My sister-in-law, I've done a lot of organizing for her, and the other day she posted like a the dishes behind a glass built-in,
Hmm.
and we did that a couple years ago, and it was just like, she was just finding a happy moment looking at it, like, and it was the caption was kind of like, "This makes me so happy." And I was like, it makes me so happy that it makes her so happy,
Yeah.
like, glad to see it, but, sometimes I almost feel like we don't know what to do when our space is organized. It's like the clutter kind of keeps us busy.
Mhm.
And I had a feng shui expert on here, and we were talking about what clutter means. There's usually more to it. Sometimes people say clutter is delayed decision making. That's something people say, but um I've found even in my own world, like, I like to have a project out if I'm working on it. And I am somebody who likes to work on a lot of projects. And so sometimes people will come to my house and I'll be like, look in all my drawers. Like, I promise I'm a home organizer because my drawers are perfect, but on the surface, I'm in the middle of this and I'm in the middle of this. And
Mhm.
if you catch me in the middle of it, it's out. And I've had to think that through as I've helped other people think through things in their own house of like, why am I not putting that away? Like, it doesn't go away forever, but part of my brain thinks if it's not out, it's, out of sight, out of mind a
Mhm.
little. So it's like, actually, there's more value to putting it away until I can work on it than keeping it out to remind myself to work on it.
Mhm.
And I've even noticed myself, especially with hiring other people that are actually taking off loads of mine that have felt like only mine to do in the past, and now that I have very capable people around me taking on different things on my behalf, on the business's behalf, I'm like, "Oh, I can just sit on the couch for a couple hours." Like, I can just relax, and I think sometimes the stuff is it's like we don't let ourselves, like, there's always something I should be working on, I
Mhm.
could be working on, I've if I don't, I'm lazy. It's like, "No, you need to recharge," and having this here is not facilitating the most effective recharge.
Yeah. Well, maybe you can make time to do things that you wanted to do that your clutter was preventing you from doing. I would hope
Yeah, exactly,
in a better
exactly.
way, like the one that you did that was like an art room. It's like, okay, now me and the kids can come in here and work on art and not have to be stressed out about thinking about how we're going to have to put it all away and we're going to have to take it all out and the bins are going to fall over. It's like you can go and do it and it's much easier.
Well, that's where it always comes back to a main goal with every client, is just being able to identify, like, what is the main goal here? And that first consult that we do, I've shared this before, that but I played with the idea of virtual consults. And I went to an organizer conference and a couple people said, the consult makes you feel better than the client. And I thought, that's an interesting way to see that. And so I thought, okay, maybe I am doing this just for me. So I'll try this little virtual thing. We'll jump on FaceTime, they'll send me pictures and videos, and now I know what I'm working on from the client's perspective. But when I got to those jobs, I didn't like that I was meeting somebody for the first time, and I didn't like that I was taking in their space for the first time, because I think one of the things that space by space and this, you know, the system that we have is good at, is, maybe we're working on your mudroom, but there's actually something in two closets over or in an upstairs closet that fits with the mudroom better than where it is. Or if we move these things from the mudroom, we can put them there, but what's in there? It's like a lot of places in the house and spaces in the house aren't working optimally. And so during that consult, we can kind of walk through the whole house and figure out what's an area that you're not thinking of because it doesn't bother you. It's out of sight, out of mind yourself, but that's actually where I can play with and then make this mudroom. I can do my best here because now I can go there. So it's like, without seeing everything, it just I like to see everything. I think that that's what we are really good at, is and then coming up with a scope of work that is all encompassing, that doesn't, that says, okay, maybe we don't work on this for a few months, we've phased projects, but we know that that could be a next thing for us to do.
Mhm.
We were back in a house in January that we weren't in, we had been in 2 years ago, and it felt like we had been there last month, because what we had done was working really well and it still looked pretty much exactly like we had left it, just with some more stuff on top of each of the bins. So within minimal time, we were able to refresh those spaces from a couple years ago. But then it was like, oh yeah, everything that we talked about when we finished a couple years ago, like it's where it is a couple years ago. Like
Yeah.
not much has been done here. So now we can just pick back up where we are.
Well, when they felt how it felt to have that all like that, organized and nice, and only the stuff that they really wanted, and I probably when they felt that feeling, they wanted to keep it as long as they could, I would guess. So,
I
yeah,
mean, this really is like an investment,
yeah,
I mean, this is something that I think it's an investment in a home, it's an investment in a lifestyle, it's an investment in peace of mind,
hmm,
and so often we invest in escapes from it, we go on a really nice vacation and we come back and we dump our laundry and all the things that we really enjoyed not being near during vacation, it's like, ah, it's still here, or we invest in that idea. We invest in a fix.
yeah,
I'm a lot of times it's like I'm not sleeping well, so I'm going to get the best alarm clock. I'm going to read a book about why I'm not sleeping well. I'm going to get the best sheets, some fancy cooling fan, the air purifier. I mean, air purifiers are good, but it's like all these different things, the aromatherapy. We invest and we spend all this money in this tells me that I will have the best sleep ever. But it's like, well, we just need to clear the boxes from under your bed and go through it. We need to clear the closet that's right next to where you're sleeping because, as the feng shui expert Carol Hyder told us, everything has energy. And so when things are shoved into a closet a few feet from where you are trying to rest, that impacts our rest, So it's
hmm,
like, imagine how great that alarm clock will feel to wake up to when you also don't have all these stressors around you,
yeah.
So instead of the fixes, it's like this intervention in the stuff that we're surrounded by that's just weighing on us, that
I think most people don't realize how much their stuff weighs on them because I didn't really realize it until I did go through everything, for the first time.
what was what do you remember being like aha moments or certain items that you
I remember going through all those stages that I wrote down on that possible post that we were going to make about like you have some stuff that's tied to your identity where you feel like you just need to hang on to it. You have the guilt of this person made this for me, or I never got to wear this, or I invested money, so you have to keep it. So I remember going through all those kind of emotions, but then coming to terms with, this was great in the moment and I'm ready to let someone else enjoy it. I know you kind of talked about those three kind of questions to ask before
yeah.
letting something go kind of thing, and just coming to terms with letting things go and it's okay.
Mhm.
That was really powerful for me in my whole life, really.
Yeah, I was kind of saying it's like one of those old-fashioned quizzes in a magazine, like, "Does this serve you? Yes, no." Like, if it does this serve you?
Mhm.
And Marie Kondo says, "Does this bring you joy?"
Yeah.
And,
Similar thing, yeah.
but the does this serve you? Yes. Well, of course, then we'll keep it, and knowing the story around what you use it for. But if it doesn't serve you, like, would it serve someone you know better? And then we can decide, okay, yeah, oh, I'm out of maternity clothes. I don't need these again, but I have a friend who's pregnant. Okay, great. Let's give those to her. Oh, I'm not really playing pickleball anymore. That was a hobby that I thought I would do, but I don't. But my friend's going to pick it up. Cool. Should we give it to them?
Should we bring it in the car right now?
Yes, let's put it in a bag and put it in the car, and when are you gonna see your friend? Can you text them? Will they pick it up? Because a
Yeah.
lot of times, like, I'll come back a couple weeks later and the bag's still there, even though they told me they were gonna see their friend. But then there's the other layer of, like, would this serve someone you don't know best, and even better? And then that's where and I think we do a really good job of thinking through the life cycle of an item and not just, a lot of organizers, and I see this on Instagram, a lot of organizers just show this trunk full of donations of things that left the house, and they're probably going to, the nearest thrift store, and a lot of times that might make half of it trash because it just might not be of the quality to put on the shelves or of the resale value. So it's like trying to think through what's the best next place for all of these items that are going to be leaving your house so that we can honor that there is value to them.
Mhm.
There is a lot of trash that comes about in the organizing process, but there's a lot of stuff that needs just that redistribution.
Mhm.
And I think that a lot of our clients have said that they appreciate that we kind of think that through with them and come up with different places that and people that we can get those items to, or maybe even reselling some items to
Right.
recover some value, or teach them the different ways to resell so that they can incorporate that in their decluttering efforts. But I think we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll just keep talking about all things that make space by space so great. We'll be right back. Thank you. All right, we are back. This is Sorting Through Life with Colleen Waterston. I'm here with Tiffany Beamer today. And Tiffany, you've been working a lot. I think it's been like a month, but you've been doing like a deep dive in what Space by Space is all about, because you are going to be the person behind sharing that more widely, taking the work that we're doing and putting it into content that people can see moving forward. So you have, in doing that, created stuff for me to review about, like, here's the impression I'm getting, which is always interesting. It's um like you just said in our last segment, like, I come and I kind of show a person what I'm seeing about their house and about their systems. Um and you're doing that for us about our house and our systems.
Yeah. Yeah, I've just been learning by listening to you talk, really. And so a lot of times I'm taking out my phone and taking notes because you'll say things without even probably realizing it that we can totally use this or communicate this because it's really descriptive and important. So that's been fun, just like kind of picking out those little tidbits and going with them. And one thing was like organizing that meets you where you are,
Hmm.
because you really make it clear that it's non-judgmental. There's no shame involved. Like, leave your house, don't clean it. I just want to see, you're not coming into it like, oh, you got a bunch of, whatever. But so I think that is really important because that's very scary, having someone come in your house and judge you in a way, but you're coming at it from a place of just total acceptance, and I think that's probably a really important thing for people to understand when they hire someone. So yeah, that was kind of what I really pulled out and I loved. And then I kind of just generated some core values based on our conversations. And the one that is your favorite definitely is where I said gentle guidance, because
Yes.
we had talked the other day about how you're kind of guiding people. You're not really coaching them, and
No.
you're not really, what was the other word, like con- consulting them or
No,
something.
yeah, it's
We said you're kind of in the middle of that, which is guiding them.
right. Yes. And I am definitely good with guiding, and cuz I think we create the path forward. I set, this is the way we're going to do it, whether it's for, like, especially with the team,
Hmm.
here's the plan of action, and delegating, how we can get there together. Um but it was the gentle part
Yes.
that I was like, really, like, gentle, because my I've never been called gentle in my
Right.
life that I'm aware of. I mean, I think bold, opinionated, strong personality. Um, I've always said you never leave a conversation with me wondering what I think. I'll tell you. But I think our conversation around that, of that it is gentle guidance, it's been nice for me to kind of reflect on, well, in the sense that what you're saying, where when I go into someone's home, I I don't I'm pretty able to size up someone's desire for pace, how to move a project forward. Um, you know, Recently I was having a conversation with someone else who is going to be doing an estate clearing business, and they were saying they don't want the person there for a consultation.
Hmm.
And I don't even know if I don't know if that's legal, but I just thought, "Oh, wow, I would never, like, this is not about stuff. It's about the person and their relationship to their stuff.
Hmm.
It's about helping a person to live their best life and have their stuff serve that. And if it's not serving that, to help them remove it however they need to, and and really be an intervention in a way that puts the person at the heart of the main goal. It's everybody has something different. It's being able to be, I do have an undergraduate degree in psychology,
Hmm.
and I feel like when I got that degree, I thought it was common sense. I was like, doesn't everybody know this? Like, this was just common sense put to research. And then as I've, adulted more, I realized, oh, not everybody gets this psychology stuff,
Hmm.
and so now when I'm in someone's house, like there's such a sensitivity to each person, and I'm so um, I appreciate that someone's letting me in such a personal way, and I honor that, and I enjoy learning about the people I'm working with and for, and how I can help them to achieve their goals. Like if your house is cluttered and you want to get good grades, or your kids are struggling in school and their house is cluttered, maybe that's part of the reason. How can I intervene with you and everybody who calls this place home's best interest in mind,
Right.
like I want to help you get out of your own way. And oftentimes we either intentionally put stuff in our way, or unintentionally. But I I'm starting to come around to the word gentle.
Well, you're not forcing things on people. You're not trying to be like salesy and come in there and
No.
be like, you need to add this and this, and you need to have these items. And, like you're like, okay, if you don't want me to buy a bunch of stuff, then we won't. Or we want to use your stuff. Okay, you want me to buy a bunch of stuff? That's great. Like you'll guide them to the solutions, but you're not coming in there and just like being aggressive about it. And so that's where I would get, your gentle guide. You're not a
Gentle guide.
forceful, you are bold,
Old.
but you still meet people where you are,
Mhm.
where they are.
Yeah, and it's fun because it's a very personalized, customized experience, and I
Mhm.
think when in our lives do we get that opportunity to really, like, sometimes I'll say, like, "I'm not a therapist, but I'm gonna fix that thing that
Mhm.
you're telling me about," like, and I don't have a master's in psychology. I have a master's in something else, but so I'm not. But you can hear where the tension is, and sometimes I even get to see it play out with a couple, or the client tells me about tension that's happening within the home, or within their life, and
Mhm.
different things, and it does get really personal. And it's like, I imagine, we have this one room that was really a point of a kind of a battle point in the house, like what it was used for, the stuff that was in it. It was just like I could see this couple going to a therapy session and be like, "Well, he has this here and I can't stand it, but what should I do? It's for my work." Okay, well, but this, and that, I could just see it playing out. And I thought, even if in the best hour-long therapy session, they got out and were able to be like, I'm frustrated because, you know, he's not understanding that that room is important to me to keep this way so my parents can stay in it. And, she's not understanding because this is my work and I'm just trying to do my best. It's like, even if they came out of that session and were like, I get it. I'm sorry that I've been pressuring you on this, and yeah, I'll work on it. You still have to figure out what to do with the stuff.
Right.
And
Mhm.
there's like a talent. Like I brought in a cube system, and I brought in these certain open topped clear bins that we were able to put labels on. And we were able to take this like big tub of stuff and turn it into 6 much more reasonable containers of it. The woman was like, "Oh, like I get it now." And it was like, yeah, and I totally understood because they didn't have the organizational skills, which I believe is a true skill. I think spatial intelligence is a thing. And when
I
you
don't
can,
think most people have that, including for sure myself. So,
thank
and
you.
it's
And
not really something most people learn either.
no, and it's not something I think you can teach it. And I think, I could delegate a lot of different people to do jobs alongside me that will move along, the job. But, like Alicia never wants to be a lead organizer. She said it many times. Like she likes to be given a task. If you write it out for her even more, she likes to be part of it. She loves her job and she is really good at it.
Mhm.
And she can put her head down and focus on something without coming up for air, for like 4 or 6 hours on something that you almost
That's
forget she's
amazing.
there,
That's
and you're like,
really
come back, you're like,
amazing.
oh my gosh, that's beautiful that someone else would need 10 breaks doing. I mean, she's allowed breaks and she takes them and, but and we check in with each other, but she just has a hyper focus that's really, really helpful.
Mhm.
But she doesn't want to manage the whole thing, So even people who do this professionally have different talents and ways. And that's why I appreciate having a team. I want to bring on more so that in one day we can get 3 times as much done as we get in, we can do one day in 3 days in one day, if we have, the right set of people who are good at certain things, and then it's up to me to put them on things that they're going to do well at. But
Mhm.
yeah, this is I think it's great to see the organizing industry be more and more known about, and any of these different methods that we'll get into, like Alicia was saying, Swedish death cleaning, Marie Kondo,
Mhm.
this 2020 rule, certain things. The more that that's out there, the more it just normalizes that you can hire somebody to help you with your stuff.
Right, because it feels luxury and it sounds luxury right now, even though it is not.
It can be, that's why if you are hiring it, enjoy it.
Mhm.
And there are people who hire more of a maintenance organizer.
Mhm.
That's not really our style. Like I have had clients that I've gone back and kind of helped to tidy up what we've done. Usually if it's like, okay, after a renovation or, something shifted, the baby was born, now we can come in and kind of go through the system that we set up and see what's working, what needs to be adjusted. But I'm not going to come and put your groceries away for you every week and put there are organizers out there that do
Mhm.
that type of service. I want to come in and really be an intervention. Like
Yeah.
I want to come in and be like, let me help you help yourself in a way that you can't do that intervention. That's the unique part. But I'm going to make it so custom to you, and I'm going to get to know you and the people in this house in a way that, um, like, I'm going to get to the point and then I'm going to fix that thing and it's going to be better forever,
Yeah.
you
Well, and
know?
you were talking about as well the other day about how when you come in and do it, you're not gonna go watch TV for a while or sit on your phone and do the stuff like you're gonna do it until it's done, and so it will get done. Whereas a lot of people, when they try to do it themselves, you'll get distracted and stuff will just sit there and.
We always say, and I don't know if it's scientific, I make up numbers of things, but we work 3 times faster in your house than we do in our own. I mean, if I have something in my own house, I might stop at the big sort and walk
Mhm.
away because I can, but when I'm on the clock and I'm in your house and I've committed to do this, I'm going to sort it, I'm going to go through it, and then I'm going to put it back together better. Like,
Mhm.
you have hired me to do that, and I will do that job and I will do it well. But for now, I wish we had 3 times longer than this episode. They always seem to fly by. So thank you for being here, Tiffany, here and on the team. And thank you all for listening. If you're interested, I'm supposed to get better at saying this. Spacebyspaceorganizing.com, Instagram handle spacebyspace.org. And we are sorting through life with Colleen Waterston on AM 950.